Before you can figure out where you're going, you gotta look back at where you've been. There's things that happen that seem like they didn't mean nothing at the time. But then you realize they mean everything.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang, to another video. Raising Kanan season 4 is right around the corner, and I think they're prepared to rip our hearts out with the death of Marvin. Oh, that shit's gonna suck, but it's gonna lead to the inevitable path of Jukebox getting into the game and turning into that hardened woman, criminal, dirty cop that we seen in the original Power. We've already got so much of her backstory up to this point, of course, with the death of her girlfriend early on, her and Marvin getting into that huge fight due to her coming out as lesbian, also the fact that she lost her mom as well as Detective Burke. She has been through a lot already, and I think it's only gonna get worse, and I think this is at the point where we finally see her enter the game after the death of Marvin, as we do get clues in the new teaser trailer we received like a month or two ago at this point, where we do see him handing her a gun, and then an entirely different scene we see her pointing it at someone. And I think it's gonna come a situation of life or death, or possibly even revenge, and this is what's taking place. So I'm gonna go ahead and break all this down. You guys feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and opinions on all this. I'm expecting a full Raising Kanan trailer to be coming very soon. They said the season was coming out this winter. I hope they didn't mean early 2025 winter, like January, February. I want that shit in December, because I'm about to dive into Raising Kanan content. So once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, before we get into Jukebox and how we're going to see her mold and turn into the person we saw in the original Power, obviously we got to kick it off with Marvin and his death. And I think it's important to start off with this original clip from the original Power of Kanan talking about Marv.
I was there for when her daddy kicked her out the way she is.
In this clip, he mentions how Jukebox owed him one because he was there when her father kicked her out for the way she was. But also, he took a pause before making that statement. I think inevitably Marvin will die, and it makes sense that he took this pause because we know, yes, Marv and Juke did get into that gigantic fight. She left and went and lived with Rock. But at this point we're at now in season 3, Marvin has learned to accept Juke for who she is. Even when the new manager came and told Juke she got the job, she got the audition, Marvin made sure to let her know Juke gonna be Juke. She's gonna be the way she is. No one's gonna change her for anything.
Listen, my daughter gonna be exactly who she is, though. I mean, Juke gonna be Juke. I don't care what your people say.
So I think this pause that Kanan took in the original Power could possibly signify that something bigger is going to happen with the character of Marvin. But we know since the very beginning, Marv and Juke definitely didn't see eye to eye, and that fight was the climax of their whole relationship, the complete fallout. Over time, they got back close, rekindled their relationship, and she even moved back in. He even defended her against her mother when her mother tried the whole conversion shit on her, telling her she's sinning. He went, got Juke back, and they got rid of Kenya. Unfortunately, following that, Kenya did die, but Marvin was there to console her, give her words of positivity about Kenya, even though she was the way she was. Said Kenya still loved Juke, and he even gave her all of Kenya things the church delivered to them.
But she loved you, Juke. I don't doubt she figured out she did you wrong on that church shit.
So over time, their relationship has had probably the most growth other than Rock and Kanan. So with Marvin and Jukebox rekindle relationship, it begs the question how we saw the Jukebox we got in the original Power. And I think Marvin's death is gonna be the last straw. I talk about all the time how Jukebox probably went through the most hardships or suffered the most losses in Raising Kanan so far, since the death of Nicole, the fight with Marvin, the death of her mother I just mentioned, and even the death of Burke, who looked out for her and was the reason she went and signed up for the army in the first place. So I think Marvin will be the last straw, on top of the fact that she will lose her dream of becoming a singer, and I'm expecting Marvin's death to play a big factor in her first kill. Not necessarily that she will be the one to kill Marvin, but that she'll possibly be out for revenge. I just have a good feeling about it, or should I say a bad feeling. We got to think about where the Thomas family started at the beginning of all this. In the very first season, when we seen seen all of them together sitting down, and somehow along the way the whole Thomas family is still alive. And I point this out because I feel like Marvin is kind of the glue that's holding everyone together, between his relationship with, of course, his daughter Jukebox, as well as the middleman between Rock and Lou. And I feel like once this falls out of place, it's when the Thomas family will fall. We got to think the development we saw between Marvin and Juke over the course of these first 3 seasons, where they're finally at a point where they're in good relations with each other. We saw him comfort her after her mother's death. We seen him try to initiate a relationship between her and the girl in her dance group. Honestly, I can't remember her name right now, but we see him actually trying to be the father that she deserves. And we know how shit gets when things are going good. It's only one place it could go down. 2 other major factors that I think I have to point out that leads me to believe, of course, she will be in the game and that she will be getting her first kill in this upcoming season. Or should I say 3 other reasons. 1, obviously Ghost and Tommy knew who she was. They knew she was in the gang due to this line we got in the original Power.
And remember Jukebox?
Yeah, that fucking crazy bitch.
That one.
Not Ghost. Ghost.
And she talked about Ghost, how he always had his head in a book, but he was good with a piece. You couldn't mess with him, couldn't play with him.
Man, Ghost, he was your boy, that kid. Always with his head in the motherfucking book. Vicious with a piece, though.
So that lets us note that she has some type of involvement with them around this time, that they knew of her, called her that crazy bitch or whatever. And that leads me into point 2, obviously, with Power Book Origins on the horizon, telling the backstory of young Ghost and young Tommy. I've been having a theory for over a year now, or since they announced Origins at least, that eventually when Raising Kanan in, the actors that play Kanan and Juke will join Power Origins cast and be a big part of that series. So I think this is setting all that up to happen, with her finally entering the game and being a mainstay and a main focus compared to how she is now to Rock or Kanan, Marv, Lou, everyone else. And last but not least, as I mentioned probably earlier in the video, she signed up for the army or for the military in season 3. We seen her with the pamphlets, we seen her take a physical, we even seen Rock talking to her about a letter she received in the mail asking is that really what she want to do. And her singing girl group Dreams was crushed with the FBI coming to question her about her dad. Ultimately, she was like, hey, I guess joining the military is what I gotta do, but she didn't leave for it at the end of season 3, which leads me to believe once again she will be finally in the mix with everyone else in their dealings with the game. And last but not least, what we gotta talk about is who is her first kill gonna be. And honestly, I think it's too hard to tell right now. Like, it's kind of impossible to tell if we're being honest, based off how the last season ended, and we don't really have much information on season 4 just yet. I initially thought last season it was gonna be Detective Howard, because I had the whole theory about how we saw her get introduced as a dirty cop, and he was a dirty cop in this series. Of course, he's also the one who killed Detective Burke, who was someone close to her. She didn't like him. I saw that as a major possibility. Also the fact that he was Kanan's dad, but obviously that's out the window with what Rock did at the end of season 3. So I really have no clue who her first kill is gonna be, which is why more or less I think it has to tie him with Marvin currently, because she doesn't really have no storyline surrounding her personally that I could see her being attached to from what we know so far. Maybe when we get a full trailer, we'll be able to get more clues and details, and I'll make a whole nother video just focused on that. But I definitely think her kill is coming in this next season. Also, one last thing I gotta point out is this alleged fight between Jukebox and Kanan that's supposed to take place. Now, I talked about this previously as well. The writer of the Creator of Power, Courtney Kemp, talked about this on Twitter, I believe, and she's no longer with the show from what I can see. She's not writing on any of these shows anymore, but they talked about this scar that Kanan had in the OG Power. Where did he get it from? She talked about a fight that possibly took place between her and Kanan, and if she she joins the game, go closer to being in the game, there possibly more conflict to come between them, which also can explain why he so easily just killed her in the OG power, because we know they seem pretty close in Raising Kanan. But I made a whole separate video on their entire backstory, beginning, middle, and end. It probably got like 200k views at this point, one of my most viewed videos. You guys could go check that out if you're more interested in that. But be on the lookout of a massive fight between Jukebox and Kanan in this upcoming season as well. Overall though, that's it for this video. You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything down below. I know what a lot of you gonna say. Marvin, nobody wants Marvin to die. I don't want him to die. I just think the way the story is going and what we know about OG power, I think it makes the most sense up to this point. I'm pretty sure he's a lot of people's favorite character. He brings the comedy relief aspect. He brings the loyal soldier to Rock. He brings the comfort to Lou, who be going through all types of shit. He's the most versatile. He does everything, and I think they're preparing to rip our hearts out with what's coming in this next season. Now also, I want you guys to tell me, who do you believe Jukebox is gonna take out? I honestly think it's a character we haven't even seen yet, and when we get more clues, like I said, I'm gonna make a whole separate video on that. Let me know any other videos you want me to make on Raising Kanan before the season comes out though. I'm probably gonna be focused on the return of Unique in my next video. So as usual, you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.